Hi everyone. We are again in the imagination industry, where we are trying to decode creativity, but also the business behind it. And we have very interesting guests for you every 2 weeks, and this is one of them. Welcome.
So here's a story. A few weeks ago, I went to this event here in London. It's called Nicer Tuesdays. It was on Tuesday, haha. So the event is a monthly thing. It's organized by a media for designers that is called It's Nice That, and it's great. You should check it out. The format is pretty simple. So you have 3 stories per night, and each speaker has 10 minutes to present the work and sort of to talk through their creative methods. That night, out of 3 stories, I was mesmerized by one particular story because it was a blend of, first of all, some kick ass work. And as a non designer, I was just impressed. I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. And the second thing that actually impressed me was the personal story there because it was a blend of coming from one country to another and actually researching your own roots and implementing that in your work and fighting the imposter syndrome. So, those were all of those things that creators would normally fight against. And it was really raw and it was really emotional and it was really smart. And it was our today's guest, Chen, wonderful graphic designer and illustrator. And it's the first time when I saw someone live, and 24 hours later, she accepted the invitation to our podcast. And welcome to the imagination industry.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm Chen, and thanks so much for having me. I'm also surprised that you invite me, but yeah, hi.
I would like to kick off with my first question. Again, drawing back to that moment when I saw you at Nicer Tuesdays and your talk. So you started by saying that you are from Taiwan. And if you're in Taiwan and if you want to be trained as a graphic designer, you're trained in a pretty traditional manner, right? That's how the education system works. In the meantime, you also said you were exploring your own style and it was more about breaking free from the system. And you also mentioned that you were, in that time, obsessed with pipes. When I heard the word pipes, I was like, there's a story there. So can you talk us through that period? Like how and did that classical education help you to become an illustrator and a graphic designer that you are today?
So I think I can start from the very beginning. That why
From the pipes.
I'm into pipes. Yes, it's because I grew up in a factory town, a countryside. So my environment, we have nothing but just buildings, like factory buildings. So I think that is like strongest visual impact for me as a child. I think I've loved drawing since I was a kid, but because of my environment, and I think there's no art or no creative activities around me.
Yeah.
So if I want to learn to study art, the only like art class I can find was the kind of like drawing like realistic style. So it's like you go to a class and then the teacher tell you that, oh, you have to draw this apple very very like accurately, like
Yeah.
very very realistically, like in the photo. Yeah, so I think I tried that, but I don't think I'm very good at that. So in my mind back then, when I was a little girl, I was like, no, I cannot draw properly. So I must have no talent to do this. So that my like art journey ends there. When I started to when I about to graduated from high school, and I want to select my major for the college. And at the time, I saw a magazine at a bookstore. It's called IDN, and in that issue they feature like very flat graphic style designs, and I think it's a mixture of like graphic design and illustration, but in a flat style. So, and I really like that. I think like, oh, that's cool. I really want to do something in the future. So I went to ask my school teacher. I took that magazine and go ask her like, oh, if I want to draw this, what major I need to do? And it was quite funny. She replied to me, you need to do fashion design.
What?
I was just like, it's so funny. Yeah, and it's just like, I think look back now, it's just like, it's like the knowledge we are lacking of the correct knowledge in the countryside, I think. So I think that's like the knowledge difference between like you grew up in the city and also grew up in the countryside. So my journey was been like very, very weird, like very not smooth. So I actually did fashion design.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
You did it.
because I had no idea that if I want to do this, what major I should do. I didn't know there's a term called graphic design. Long story short, so I became a graphic designer, and I worked as a graphic designer for like 3 years. And during one project, the brief was to encourage us to use very basic geometric forms to create that project. So I use the geometric shapes to create icons, and that was the first time that I realized, oh, I can create things like I'm playing. I can create design, create visuals. Feels like I'm playing. It's very easy. So I think that's the moment that I decided I want to pursue Illustrator, but using this specific approach.
Yeah, just a quick one, because I know there was a story that your professor at the university rejected one of your main works because it
Yeah.
was not fitting into this traditional system, right?
Yes. So I think I mentioned this in my talk at Nicer Tuesdays. I think whenever I got a chance to share my art journey, I always share this story because I think this is like a very important moment throughout my entire career, and I think maybe a lot of people will relate to this. So the situation is like, because I really enjoy using geometric shapes, this and vector type of art to create illustration, and my master's degrees, I think their main focus is using traditional media because that was a children's book course. So I think uh, I I don't know why, but because I also saw a lot of different children's books, they using the similar style as mine, like the vector type. But anyway, so that was in one of the graduation reviewing session. So it's very, very important. And then I present my work to her, and she said, "Oh, I don't want to review your work in front of the whole class." And she said, "Oh,
Wow.
Oh,
because I don't like your style. Your work just," she said, "My work is just style. So nothing else, just style." And then she said, "I think you should go back to traditional media. You should start from watercolor or color pencil." And that's it. She ended that and then move on to the next person. So I was like standing there, and then so
Wow.
awkward. So awkward. I was like very ashamed of my work and myself. So after that, I think I cried for many days. And I really thought about that I want to quit that, because like throughout my career I've been told that I cannot do art properly, like in my when I was young, like when I want to do the art course, and then I have to draw like things that I don't like to draw, so I don't think I have talent. So that moment I feel like a proof again that I cannot draw.
What made you stay? What made you stick to art then? What was the reason you still stayed? Like what happened after this kind of event? Because it's awful, brutal. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because deep down in my mind that I knew why I want to create and what makes me decide that I want to switch to illustration.
I need to
um
ask you. I need to
yeah.
ask you about one thing. Have you ever encountered this teacher afterwards? Because you are so successful, you got so many awards,
you have the
and I'm
invite to the
Polish. I'm
award.
Polish. I have those nasty thoughts right now. Like, have you ever met that person? Say, ha ha.
Give us her email. We'll email her
Yeah,
now.
like we can email her with, like with all your works did you did. Yeah.
No. I think I I think because that was like a long time ago, and right now when I look back, I'm kind of like I understand why she said that in her context, because our course, that's a children's book course, so your drawing needs to fit in the industry so that can sell. So because they have like it's like a marketing type of perspective, so I kind of understand, and my style is a little bit too abstract for children to understand. But I think along the way there's so many different, like a lot of people will judge your work because they have all their own preferences, and I cannot please everyone. So I need to take the control back to myself, that I create this because I really enjoy it and it's genuine to me, that express like my true liking or my perspective. I think that when you take control back, like no one can hurt you anymore. So I did that. I don't know why I have that the things that just come out in my mind, that okay, I have to do it for myself, just for myself, and I don't want to care for other people. But at the time, I didn't know what will happen to me, because when you were like study, the what teacher tells you feels like the entire world. So when she told me, "Oh, you're not good at drawing," I feel like that's end of the world. But I still think, okay, fine. I will probably find something in the future. I didn't know at the time yet, but yes, I, I thankfully this this
Amazing,
world is big.
amazing. That's true. I think that's true. That's something I also learned. One of my mentors was always saying, "Cake is big. Everyone can have a bite," and I really like that way of thinking. So, so I'm glad that it worked out for you. And another question, maybe from a bit different angle. Um, you are an artist. I don't dare to say fulfilled, because I imagine you have a lot of plans, a lot of still desires what to create, but you are also established in a way. You have really great collaboration with big brands, with Google, Apple, Adobe. Like, this is huge. I think a lot of illustrators and designers dream of having those kinds of collaborations, and in the same time, I've noticed when I was doing research that you have actually community of 30,000 people on Instagram following you, and like interested in what you are doing. Um, and I wonder, like, I saw that you don't do a lot of videos or content that we would see with other content creators. There are some like how-to videos, but a lot of it's more like presenting your work. It's more like a portfolio thing, and I couldn't figure out, do you feel yourself, do you think about yourself as a content creator also, or are you artist, and Instagram is more addition, is more like a Behance almost function to you, to just present your art to bigger audience? How do you see yourself in the social media sphere, and as a,
Mm.
do you name yourself content creator also?
No, I think I definitely see myself more as an artist than a content creator. And I think for me, like building an audience has been like pretty organic. Because I usually share work when I feel, oh, I really like this one, so I want to share with people. And if I create something that I'm not that happy, I wouldn't share. So I think it's, yeah, I don't really follow trends. I notice that a lot of people do that, and I think that definitely will help with the numbers, because like people will see, oh, this is a trend. I think what for me, what really connects with my audience is the consistency and the genuine personality of the work itself. So, and I think over time it will naturally build a community of people who can really connect with my art, because they like my art, and I really feel amazing. I think I really appreciated my followers.
Let me challenge you on that, or ask more questions. um I understand, and like what you want to do. Like, you say, okay, if I'm happy, so I'm doing the art for myself in a way. Like, I'm creating something which I'm happy with, and only then I'm sharing. And if I was content creator, then I would need to take into consideration what people want, what people like, and the algorithm itself. Do you see this as the only difference between artist and content creator? Like, maybe just to understand why you don't describe yourself as a content creator. We still with Irina discussing a lot what's actually good definition of content creator. So if you could maybe share from your point of view, who is content creator and who is it not, or who is artist, who is it not, and why you fall into one category and why you don't fall into the other, because that will be also interesting.
I think the reason why I don't identify myself as content creator is because I think content creator, they start creating content from the audience. Maybe that's wrong, but of course, a lot of people, they have they have their knowledge and they think they can use this knowledge to share with people. But I think their main focus is sharing. But my main focus is using this video thing, the content, to amplify my original art. So, and right now, because I'm sharing more and more behind the scene video reels, it's because with AI era coming, I think now I see the design process, the behind the scene, as part of my art. So they are like a package. That's why I share. And it's not because I want to attract people's view and follow. Because content creator, their goal is to having a lot of followers, so they can earn money through or YouTube or the product they are selling. But I'm sharing the work because I want to show people the artwork, and potentially the goal I want to attract is, first of all, is for myself because I want to share my artwork, and secondly, I found that naturally will lead to client work, because I don't create. So I notice a lot of artists, they share videos like the day with me in my studio or that kind of video. So that's more like a lifestyle they are sharing. So they are like creating a figure, public figure. But I'm avoiding to do that because I want the focus to be my artwork. Maybe it's a bit old fashioned. Maybe I will change my mind in the future. But at the moment, that's
so
how
just
I
to
feel.
maybe clarify, right now, for example, the only way of monetizing what you're doing, you see, in collaboration with clients, B2B clients, is, as I understood correctly. But for you, content creators actually monetizing a day job through selling anything to the community. So it's more getting money out of the community itself, and you're not planning on getting money out of your community in any way. This is the distinction you are seeing.
I thought about that because I want to open a new account just for, because I'm doing mentoring right now for Adobe. So I want to like separate that from my artwork. I want to have a new channel that's only like explain, oh, how do you do your portfolio and how do you approach client, that kind of like only mentoring stuff. I want to separate that from my main account. Yeah, but I think now, if you want to be an illustrator, I think you need to find a lot of income source. So a lot of people chose to become a content creator because that's a very easy way to do it.
Yeah. And I feel like you're touching upon this. There's a slight difference between being an illustrator and then, like, if you are leading towards this content creator label, let's say, it's inevitable that you need to create a digital persona somehow, right? And behaving in a certain way, creating content in a certain way, and that is a certain change, right?
Yeah, for me as well, because I don't really like to show my face. Recently, I show more and more is just because I want to make people know this is made by real humans. I only like have one cut or two cuts that has my face, but rest is just like the screen and my drawing, the table shot. But I'm also curious about your thoughts.
Ooh, that's a rare one for us to speak about. But it's a good one. I could quickly start because I draw a very sort of straightforward line between creators and content creators, creators and influencers, and between creators and artists. So to me, those are all different, and some are the subcategories of the others. For example, like content creators to me fall into a smaller creator category. You can create content, but you can create, I don't know, like woodwork, and then you can create poetry, that sort of thing. And to me, this
I will stop you. Sorry, it's your point of view, but in the same time, we here in the imagination industry, we are talking to those creators who are in a way online. Yeah, like if you had someone who is creating something out of wood and staying in that wood, it's lovely. He is still an artist, he's still a creator, but it's not an interest to us. So this kind of online personality is important, and the decision to bring whatever work you have to the life. I'm not sure, because for me maybe content creator is something different for than you. It's I think creator and content creator for me it's kind of the same thing. It's like I'm creating something and putting it to the world through any online distribution channel. So in my mind, and for you are in kind of in that category. But actually what we started discussing with Irina at some point was a checklist of things. I don't know if you remember, yeah? So we have like a lot of things, and then someone might be more creator, more artist, like more this or more that. We still didn't figure out that whole model. Once we're gonna do it, we're gonna share it with you, and you can
Actually,
self-test
that's
Okay.
yourself.
podcast. You have a lot of opinions on that, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and sorry, Ira, for this in invading your point of view. It just I don't know, like the fact of deciding to putting your work online, I think kind of creates that space. But I also see Anne's point, like not sharing your personal life, not going there. We also have actually creators being guests who mentioned they don't share their personal life, they don't want to share personal life, but still want to share whatever they're doing online. I don't know. I still also don't have one answer. I still don't want to have one answer for that. It's a nuance. So we are happy to learn and read, to listen to other points of view, and see. But I kind of think this connection to online worlds make all the changes
Mhm.
in your life. I don't know.
Interesting, but I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, in 2025, it's the point of parity, I guess, rather than the point of differentiation. Like if you are not
Yeah,
online,
yeah.
then, well, it makes
Yes.
it harder, right?
Yeah. I think like the border, the definition is like blurry right now.
It
Exactly.
is, and I think it's also amazing point, Ira, that like everyone is doing that, but I think how people are doing that is different, and I think this nuance on how you are doing this will be this differentiator if we want to put labels anywhere, because I imagine some people are using social media more like a portfolio thing. No, I'm just putting whatever I have, that's it, and this is my email address. Write me if you want to buy some more. And some people will be interacting with audience in a way, and the question is, if for example you showing how I made this, the whole backstory, back end of the creative process is already creating this connection. Yeah, like is it or is it not? So I think that's an interesting part.
That's actually a nice logical up to what I was thinking, and maybe like the level of your deliberate sort of going into this distribution model online and playing with your audience, and then playing off of your audience, thinking about like the engagement and the volume and everything, like this marketing metrics, and technically, like that's when you become a content creator because you start creating content for them or off the back of them in a way. So yeah, maybe getting closer to the checklist, girls.
At the end of season one, we're gonna create full checklist. That's the goal, full checklist,
Okay.
and we will send it to all our guests, and they can self-test it on themselves and see. Oh yeah, I'm 85%
Yeah,
content
it's like a
creator.
personality test.
Okay. Okay. I hope when I do the checklist, I'm still like 80% artist. I
Maybe
don't
you
know.
can be both. Maybe you can be both. But I
Okay.
get your point. Also, I get your point, and um I think this is a very nuanced differentiator about, am I creating for myself or am I creating for someone else? And recently I read an essay on the Hit Record Joe, which is amazing website. And that will be maybe one of the next guests. I'm trying, if the universe is listening to me, I would love to have you on our podcast. But it was, both things are okay in creator and in artist way. It's okay to create art for the audience. It's good. It's okay to create art for yourself. It's just a choice in a way, but the result is still an art. I don't know, like, which was comforting way of seeing this, like very liberating, I think, way of seeing this.
Because you already mentioned that briefly, I can't but ask, is AI threatening your job?
I think that's a very big question. I shouldn't answer for the whole industry. But to me, I think that definitely change people's think, like the thought of an artwork when they see images. Like people, they don't do art, they don't do design, they don't have any creative skills. They used to appreciate people making art. They used to appreciate, they see the work and see, they will like awing, like, oh, that's very good. And how did you make it? They will respect. But I think that respect is gone right now because you can just type some keywords and then generate image. So that no longer exists from my perspective. And especially in, I don't know about Asia, but in Taiwan, I noticed that's happening. That people, they generate images and then they post, they say, this is the artwork they make. So the terminology they're using is not very different from who actually using their skill, they making the art. So I think, yeah, that's the biggest difference I notice. And I don't know, I don't think I should answer this, is it threatening the industry? Of course you will hear people say that, oh, because you make very unique art and then no one can replace you. The population of the entire earth, for example, like 1%, maybe 5% is artists, but right now is the rest 95% using the prompts to against you. So if they want to copy you, someone will find a way to copy you. Yeah, so I think it's the time is changed from my perspective. It's, I'm very aware of that. And yeah.
Are you actively looking for ways to like to not be to not be, I don't know,
A copy or
yeah,
oh
like
yeah,
your
I
work.
use two program. One is called Glaze. That is a program that you can put your artwork into that program and they will glaze a layer of things that cannot be copied by AI. There's another one called, there's a website called uh, Content Credential. So you also can put your artwork there and they will put a watermark of who's the original artwork and what's your social handles. Now
Very sweet.
I can trace that. Use the Content Credential website, you can trace who actually used your work to feed AI.
Oh,
You can see that, and who copy your work and apply on which platform. You can see that.
that is
That's
so
actually pretty cool. I didn't hear about those companies, about those software. So I think for a lot of new creators who are listening to us, that might be also interesting a tip that there are ways, or there will be a lot of ways that AI or companies behind AI will be trying to use your art, but you can also fight back and try to figure out how to protect yourself. Is there any way that you are using AI creatively?
I use ChatGPT to mostly translate my English, so help with my language. And also, I think ChatGPT is a very good friend when you want to brainstorming something to you. I think it's a, so when I want to brainstorming so in the ideation phase, that when I want to brainstorming as many ideas as possible, that I will use that to help. But I think for now, I don't think they ever give me any idea or answer that I'm happy with. Maybe it's the prompt I enter is wrong, so I still need to use human brain to come up the best solution, I think, for each project.
I love the human brain thing because yesterday I was listening to another designer presenting her work, and she finished her quite strong statement with the phrase, she was talking about AI and how AI kind of gives you less work, if you're an illustrator, because brands start using AI themselves, and it kind of helps them creatively. And she said, in the end, I'm human and I have things to say to other humans, and that's a really
I
smart
love
way.
it.
Yes, that's the essence. We are humans and we want to talk to other humans. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, love it, love it.
I would like to come back to the business side of your activity, of your career. Is How do you approach this? Was the career or something that happened along the way when you were pursuing the artistic vision, or is it something that you need strategy for? Like, because I think I asking on behalf of all the future artists or all the young artists that are thinking how to do it. Actually, should they pursue another job and treat artist part as a add-on, as a something they do as a hobby, or can you actually shape your career once you're gonna decide on your style, once you're gonna decide in which area or actually have a talent? As you mentioned, you at some point you chose illustration, you have the drive for illustration. From that moment, how strategic were you about your next steps in your career?
I always leave time to create artwork that just for myself, but I also create artworks that have target. For example, I create some editorial practice. I create a lot of like editorial practice because I want to send those potentially to art directors, send some cold emails to them. So that's like a different type of approach. And also, I think for the project I'm targeting certain clients, I will use like strategy like for example, I will use their content to generate illustration and send this to them. And also for example, I want to do more packaging design. So I also chose a client and study the tone of their brand and what kind of illustration they used before. And when I do markup, I want to send to them. They can see that how my artwork can fit into their brand. So I think that's depends on what do I want to create. And that's in the beginning of my career. I create a lot of illustration that I targeting to certain clients, but I don't know how this happened. That I think more and more clients they want to hire me because of my personal project. So I think right now that I want to, the personal project portion is like the ratio is like higher than the targeting projects.
Actually, that's quite a liberating answer because you can still keep experimenting for yourself, and that really matters.
Yeah, and also I think as an illustrator, when you have like a certain very niche style, and then you have to keep developing that style. You cannot just use one style and stick and drawing for like 10 years. I think I will get bored.
A quick follow-up to this question then. What was your first big breakthrough? What did you deem as your first big success?
I think it's the floral series I created. So that's also personal project that at the time I was like using some online challenges. There's a very famous Instagram account called Still Life Still Here. So I don't know if you know that. So I used some of their photos and create new styles that I want to develop, because at the time I was a little bit stuck at the style I was using. So I want to make some breakthrough and want to try new stuff and experiment. So that was my first time like combining my geometric approach on plants, like on organic subjects. And I was quite happy with the outcome at the time. And then I just posted that on my Instagram, and I got a lot of invitation to collaborate on that style. So, and I didn't know how that happened. I'm terrible at this, like strategize of to give any good advice. I'm terrible at it because a lot of situation I don't know. Oh, how did that happen? Why they see me? I remember I shared that when I got the Apple's email that they want to collaborate, hire me to create floral series for their campaign. I was like, is it like a scam? Yeah.
Just imagine you would be like, okay, spam, delete.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh god. Because I'm always drawing some personal parallels, subconsciously, I guess. I moved to London 3 years ago. You moved to London from Taiwan. And culture is really hard to transport, right? Culture is not universally understandable, and Taiwanese culture is unique, as well as culture in here. So this move, did that impact your style in any way, and did that impact your lifestyle in any way?
I think in terms of my career and my art style, I didn't mention this before, but the industry preference in Taiwan is very different from my artwork. So in Taiwan, they prefer the style like kawaii, like influenced by Japanese style. They create IP, like intellectual property. So they create characters that can print on products. So that's the biggest industry trend, or what do you call that? Like everyone does that. Yeah, I think that's very different from my style. So I never feel like I really fit in with the Taiwanese industry. Even I still got a lot of like very like wonderful collaboration with Taiwanese clients, but in the majority situation, I don't really quite fit in. From after I graduated from my master's degree in illustration, I went back to Taiwan, and like most of my clients are based in the US and the UK. So career wise, it's okay, and it's even better because the time difference is less. So yeah, so I think it boosts my the chance I can get the local clients. And culture wise, I think I'm still like getting used to everything, because first of all is my English. It's so hard, and I think I remember like a first month when I came here. I came here 3 years ago, 2022, and I think the first month I was like really want to hide in the room and doesn't want to speak. And my flatmate at the time, he can only speak English as his like native language. He's native, so I cannot communicate with him. So I was like hiding and then tried to not have any like contact. So I just like hide in my room and doing my own stuff most of the time. And I think that in the first year I came here, I feel like, oh my god, I really want to go home. Even until now, I still feel like I probably will move back to Taiwan next month or something. Yeah, I'm still learning a lot of things, and I'm getting used to the language and the culture and stuff. It's hard for me. How about you?
I need to share it because you mentioned the roommate. Depending on the region this person is coming from, the English might be different than the English taught in school. So it might not be you.
Okay.
I'm not a native, and to all English people or British people listening to us, because there is much more diversity there. It's sometimes really hard. It's sometimes really hard, especially if you are not native. So I love Scottish accent. I love it. But sometimes it's really is.
I know.
Yeah,
this thing will edit out, right?
Maybe yes, maybe not. We'll see.
It's like a title here.
Okay.
We love Scotland. It's fun.
We love Scotland. I do love Scotland a lot. Scotland
No,
is
I
great.
think my flatmate, he doesn't have like very strong accent.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
okay.
because in my education we studied American English, so it's like totally different. I can listen to like American podcast in the US.
Yeah.
I can understand 90%, but if it's from British one, I can only understand like 50. And that for me that's like very painful, because I feel like I know English. Yeah, so for me that's
accents do make this difference. I would say accents do make difference. It's important.
They do, and your own
over to you, my friend.
makes a whole lot of difference. As I was first taught British English, but you could never pick up the accent right away because you're listening to all the podcasts. Netflix is all in American English.
Yeah.
You just listen to a lot of American pronunciation, and then it becomes a weird sort of merge of whatever it is. And I spent 3 years in London now, and you can hear I can't even tell what kind of accent this is. Because one day you just wake up and you start saying water, and okay, that's not even me anymore. So, like, there's a question of self-identity in all this, for sure. Because when you are in a different culture, to your question, like how it feels, I feel like it's always a bump. It's never a careful sort of blend into the culture, no matter how you try. Some things you will love, I don't know, culture here, as in like go to any museum and see like the best kinds of art that is out there, or go to a Lady Gaga concert because it's on tomorrow, or like, you know, things that you could never imagine are possible. But at the same time, there are certain things that you kind of hate because people in your native country don't do that. I don't know. I don't like the
Oh.
clubs. I don't like the beer. I don't like socializing over a beer, but somehow
Ah.
socializing over a beer is the thing. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's happening all the time, and you know, it's just you sort of you make your own peace with that, and you just find the good bits, and that's how you live in a different culture, I guess.
Yeah. But I love London because I lived in Edinburgh
Right.
and Leicester before. So I think compared to those two cities, I think London is has the most um, people from the different places.
Chaos, good chaos.
My English is terrible. I just want to describe that. I think a diversity in
Yeah.
London is like, I think I love it, and I feel very comfortable being here as a foreigner, and then with like different color. Yeah.
And also, we can now go and have coffee, and Maria will send you pictures, and
Yeah,
wait for you
yeah.
in London, my love.
Ah, cute.
Yeah.
Okay, my
Different
final
countries, different challenges. Yeah.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Final question, because we started from the pipes, and I want to end with another weird object from your career, matchboxes. And this obsession with matchboxes, because I saw that in a bunch of your interviews that you were obsessed with them as like art objects. I am obsessed with matchboxes. You know why? Because I have my own ongoing research that has been happening for years now. I go to different countries and I measure how much a box of matches costs, because that is the commodity. I mean, they have to be super cheap. They have to have no brand because you just need them for fire. But apparently, like my record high was 300 and something euros for a matchbox, because
Wow.
it was kind of an art piece, and still it was serving the same function of just getting the fire and then throwing it away. Matchboxes, in your case, like what's the obsession about and why?
Oh, I think Matchbox is when I moved to UK and I also traveled to Europe, many different places, and I noticed in their market they always sell like vintage prints. Yeah, and that's how I started to notice this thing exists. So I think that's purely because I moved to this country and I moved to Europe. So and I noticed this special art style, and I really love it. I really like the era of the Soviet era factory in the Czech Republic. Yeah, I forgot the name, Solo something. I remember there are two factories. They produce a special style that I really like. That was the time that my tutor challenges my style, and because she suggested that I use traditional way to approach art, but I really don't want to give up my approach. So I'm thinking that how can I add on top of my current artworks? So that define how I create right now. So I use Adobe Illustrator to create the basic images, and I add a layer of textures to mimic the vintage matchbox design. Also, I use the matchbox color. It's because I want to make my artwork look like not that sharp, has more like human touch in it. That's yeah. So matchbox design is very important to me, that how I define, how I come up my current style.
If your career, for any reason, ended tomorrow, no more clients, no more exhibitions, no Instagram, what would be like one piece of work you would like to be remembered for? Like, what is I don't know, the something you are most proud of?
I got inspired by the traditional Asia painting, like in countries in China, in Japan, in Korea, the East Asian painting style, and I really like them. I think that the way they create characters or the plants are very unique, and I like to take those elements and translate into my own visual language to my artwork. So the series I created got inspired by those artworks are the most proud of my work. Those things reflect my culture the most.
For the final bit of the podcast, we're asking
Okay.
you very short questions, and you have just, I don't know, a couple of words, one answer. Like, it has to be really short and snappy. First money you ever earned?
It's my first year salary working in a illustration studio.
One big thing you hate about being a creator?
That I have to draw for the brief that I'm not interested in.
Give us the names of 3 creators you are following and that you love.
Owen David and Issey Nori and David Oku. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.